Odin, the Allfather of the Nine Realms. In the grand tapestry of Norse mythology, there is one god whose name stands above all others, a figure who shaped the very course of the cosmos and who holds dominion over wisdom, war, and death. This god is Odin, the Allfather, ruler of Asgard, and the most powerful among the Aesir gods. His story is one of sacrifice, wisdom, and a constant quest for knowledge. A journey that would shape not only the fate of the gods, but also the destiny of the entire universe. Odin's life is a tale of complexity, where every decision, every action, and every sacrifice would have far-reaching consequences. His influence stretches far beyond the borders of Asgard, touching the realms of mortals and immortals alike. The birth of Odin and the origins of the Aesir. Odin was not always the mighty Allfather. His origins lie deep in the mythic past, in a time when the Nine Realms were in chaos. Before the gods came into being, the world was a place of elemental forces and ancient beings. Two great forces dominated the universe, the ice of Niflheim and the fire of Muspelheim. From the union of these two elements, the primordial being, Ymir, was born. Ymir, a giant, was the ancestor of all the Jotnar. But from his body, the Aesir gods emerged. Odin, along with his brothers Vili and Ve, slew Ymir and used his body to create the world. From his blood they formed the seas, from his bones, the mountains, and from his skull, the heavens themselves. The trio of brothers, Odin, Vili, and Ve, then shaped the first humans, Ask and Embla, creating life and establishing order. Odin's power as the ruler of Asgard was secured when he and his brothers divided the world and created their realm as a stronghold against the chaos of the giants. But despite their victory, Odin's mind was ever restless, and he sought more knowledge, more power, and more wisdom. The quest for wisdom. Odin's pursuit of knowledge was relentless, and it led him down paths that no other god dared tread. His hunger for wisdom took him to the depths of knowledge hidden beyond mortal and divine reach. One of his most defining characteristics was his willingness to sacrifice in order to gain the wisdom he sought. Odin's quest for knowledge is perhaps most famously symbolized by his sacrifice at the Well of Mimir. Mimir was a wise being who guarded the waters of a well that contained immense wisdom. The well was said to grant knowledge beyond the comprehension of any god or mortal, and Odin, knowing that this knowledge would help him protect the realms and prepare for the coming Ragnarok, sought it with great fervor. However, Mimir demanded a price. In order to drink from the well, Odin was forced to sacrifice one of his most prized possessions, his right eye. Without hesitation, Odin gouged out his own eye and cast it into the well in exchange for a single drink of its water. This sacrifice marked a turning point for Odin. He now possessed the wisdom of ages, but it came at the cost of his physical sight. But Odin's sacrifice didn't end there. Another myth tells of his journey to the world of the dead, Helheim, in search of the knowledge of the runes. Odin hung himself on the world tree, Yggdrasil, for 9 days and nights. He was pierced by his own spear, Gungnir, and was left to suffer, hanging without food or water. This self-sacrifice was a ritual to unlock the ancient secrets of the runes, which were symbols of power and magic that governed the very fabric of reality. On the 9th day, as the agony reached its peak, Odin's sacrifice was rewarded. The runes revealed themselves to him. With this new knowledge, Odin became a master of magic and divination, and the runes became a powerful tool for the gods and the mortal realm alike. Odin's role as the Allfather. Odin's wisdom and knowledge were unmatched, and it made him not only a leader, but a visionary. As the Allfather, he took on the responsibility of guiding the Aesir gods in their eternal struggle against the forces of chaos and destruction, especially the giants, the natural enemies of the gods. His wisdom allowed him to strategize and prepare for the inevitable end of the world, Ragnarok, an apocalyptic event in which the gods would face their final battle against the forces of Jotunheim, the land of the giants. As a leader, Odin was a god of war, but also one of peace. He understood that war was a necessary part of existence, a balance between life and death. While Thor, his son, was the god of thunder and protector of the gods, Odin's role was more strategic. He was the god who led the gods in battle, but also the god who saw the bigger picture. His wisdom in diplomacy, tactics, and governance made him an essential figure in the pantheon. Odin's association with war and death was not limited to his role as a leader in battle. Odin ruled over Valhalla, the Hall of the Slain, a majestic and imposing hall where warriors who died bravely in battle were taken. These warriors, known as the Einherjar, were honored in Odin's hall, where they would train daily, preparing for the final battle at Ragnarok. Odin, ever the strategist, knew that when the end of the world came, he would need an army of warriors, brave and skilled men and women, to fight alongside him. Valhalla was a place of honor, where those who died in battle would continue to fight and feast in preparation for the ultimate clash between the gods and the forces of chaos. The many faces of Odin. Odin was not only a god of wisdom, war, and death. He also embodied many other aspects of life and the cosmos. He was a god of magic, shape-shifting, and poetry. He had the ability to take on different forms, often disguising himself as a wanderer or a traveler in search of knowledge and insight. It is said that he would often walk among mortals in disguise, testing their wisdom and kindness, as well as guiding them in their actions. One of Odin's most famous associations was with poetry. As the god of wisdom, he was also the patron of skalds, Norse poets, and storytellers. He was the one who discovered the mead of poetry, a mystical drink that could bestow the gift of poetry and wisdom upon those who consumed it. The mead was guarded by the giant Sutungru, but Odin, using his guile and cunning, tricked the giant and obtained the mead. This mead, once in Odin's possession, allowed him to bestow great knowledge and wisdom upon those who proved themselves worthy. Thus, Odin became the god of inspiration, guiding poets, sages, and warriors alike with his insight and wisdom. Odin's sons, Thor and Balder. Odin's legacy lived on through his children, the most notable of whom were his sons Thor and Balder. Thor, the god of thunder, was his most powerful son, and the two were often seen together, fighting off the giants who threatened the peace of Asgard. While Thor represented brute strength and direct action, Odin represented wisdom and strategy. The dynamic between father and son was one of balance, as Odin understood that sometimes brute force was necessary, but at other times, wisdom and subtlety would win the day. Balder, on the other hand, was Odin's most beloved son, known for his beauty, kindness, and purity. Balder was so loved that when he began having prophetic dreams of his death, the gods took action to protect him. However, Loki, the trickster god, tricked Balder's blind brother Hoder into unwittingly killing him with a dart made of mistletoe. Balder's death was one of the most tragic events in Norse mythology, and it set in motion a chain of events that would ultimately lead to Ragnarok. Odin and the prophecy of Ragnarok. Odin was fully aware of the coming of Ragnarok, the end of the world. The signs of the impending apocalypse were all around him, from the growing strength of the giants to the prophecies of the seers. Odin's wisdom allowed him to foresee the death of many of the gods, including himself. It was foretold that he would fall at the hands of the great wolf Fenrir, one of Loki's monstrous children, during the final battle. Despite knowing his fate, Odin continued to prepare for the end, gathering his Einherjar and seeking out knowledge that might help him find a way to avert or delay the inevitable. As Ragnarok approached, Odin took part in the last great battle against the forces of chaos, knowing that it would be his final stand. He faced Fenrir, and in the struggle, the wolf tore Odin apart. However, Odin's death was not the end of his influence. As the Allfather, he had laid the groundwork for the future of the world. His children, especially his son Vidar, were destined to survive Ragnarok and rebuild the world anew. Odin's legacy. Odin's story is one of sacrifice, wisdom, and the relentless pursuit of knowledge. His influence permeated the 9 realms, from his role as the god of war and death to his role as the bringer of wisdom and inspiration. His sacrifices, including the loss of his eye and the pain of hanging from Yggdrasil, show that even the most powerful gods must pay a price for knowledge. Though Odin's life ended in tragedy at Ragnarok, his legacy lived on through his children and the eternal wisdom he passed down to the gods and mortals alike. Odin, the Allfather, was not just a god of the past. He was the god of the future, the one who guided the 9 realms through the cycle of destruction and rebirth. Thank you for watching. If you like this kind of video, please hit the subscribe button and click the notification bell to get notified whenever we post a new video.